Hey guys, Jack Spirko here. It is Monday morning. I wanted to do this video last night, but I ended up listening to music on my iPhone all day, and I had like 5% battery when the sun was about to go down and I was packing up for the night, and the wife wanted to send me off to pick some stuff from the grocery store up, so by the time I got back it was too dark to film. Anyway, as you can see, progress as promised, for real. We got every one of the arches up, and I got one end framed in, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this, so I just did it. And I decided I wanted to get just a square frame door, not like we did in the greenhouse, and I'll take you over after this and show you how the greenhouse was done. I used mending plates to help with the door stability on the bottom, front and back, and I also used basically a toenail technique with a nail on an angle, except I drilled it and did it with exterior grade deck screws. You can see I did that on these supports too, right there. And all I did was determine where I needed to be, how far could I go without going too far, get the distance I wanted for my shelves, and end up with my headers intersecting a cross member that I could attach to the top of the door frame, because I needed that. And at 2 foot shelving from the back, my shelves are going to come to right there. So you can see if I would have gone, much further that way, I kind of could really interfere with that, and I don't really want them coming too far out. And interior, I did a lot of it with stainless steel wire, because these things will not line up. This is one panel and the other panel. When you put this in, they will not line up. You have to pull them all together. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're a person that gets anal about everything being perfect, do not build a structure like this with cattle panels. This is not a perfect technology. It works really well, but you're going to have little things out of whack and things you have to compensate for, things you have to bubba eyes a little bit to get to work. It's just the way that it is. Because, when cattle panels are being made, they don't think, hey, people are going to make greenhouses and aviaries out of this thing. Anyway, a lot of you have asked about standing in here. I don't know. I'm 5'11". I'm walking through the center right now with my head up, and I feel that my bed head hair puffed up a little bit, just barely touching it. So it's not bad for me. Working on a shelf, you're gonna have a shelf right here at this height. To work on that shelf, you're gonna bend over, and that's how this wall comes. And I don't think you lose much by going 10 feet. And I'll show you in the greenhouse again why that's the case. But this starts to give you an idea of the overall layout of what it's really gonna be like. And I definitely think it's worth the extra 2 feet. I mean, if you think about it this way, if I took 2 feet off, this thing would end right here. And this extra 2 feet is worth, having the ceiling maybe a little lower than you'd like. You could raise the ceiling just by going to another stack of 2x12s. Or if you live in a place where you don't have to bring all this fill in like I do, which most of you do, just use 2x12s. And this is about 4 to 5 inches of fill here. And that would effectively raise the ceiling height 5 inches, because I'm standing on that fill. So anyway, kind of giving it perspective now, you can see this is where the two boxes come together, and there'll be a divider door here. So that'll be the area for one rotation right there, basically 4 of those grids. And remember, don't worry about those cross pieces. They don't do anything except keep that from bowing out. I got a tip for you guys though. Poultry staples or fencing nails is what everybody I've seen build anything like this has used to attach these panels down there at the bottom, or to support struts. Well, they make this, it's called metal hanging tape or metal hanging strap. You find it in the plumbing section. It's galvanized steel. You can buy a 100-foot roll of it, which would build a lot of these for I think $15 is what I paid for a 100-foot roll of it. And what I do is I cut a piece a little bit longer, and I fold the ends over like that so that you get a double piece, double hole for the top and the bottom. You end up with this little strip like this. You put one in close. When you push that down on the other side, you run that screw in and you pull that. Man, that is tight. That is way more secure than any of those poultry stables are. And nailing those things in is a pain in the butt if you've ever done it. And you know what? Nailing them in here, not that big a deal. Look, when you have to lay down on your side and nail is there, it gets old, and it gets old fast. But those guys right there are just beautiful for it. And I also did some screws, top and bottom, in a few other places just for stability. And if you ever build one, whether it's for a greenhouse, a shade house, aviary, poultry house, whatever you're going to do with it, as you're putting it up, you're thinking, man, this isn't very strong, this isn't very stable, because these things move a lot. But once you get even one end frame in, I mean, this is stouter than most greenhouses that you'd buy a kit for. It really is strong, really reinforced. As you come down here, you can see you get a lot more movement in it compared to back there. Get way on down here. You know, this is where you're like, wow, this is not a very rigid structure. But as we get those divider walls in, it will certainly get stronger. And again, I use tie wraps to pull all of these together. And I think I'm gonna not point it at those grids while I move. I wanted to show you where I've done some stainless steel wire. So this is just stainless steel safety wire. And you do like a palmer knot style loop and then twist two sides and twist it up. And that's a lot stronger, but we're gonna be using that to attach the hardware cloth that's gonna go on it next weekend. And once you have that hardware cloth wired on here, I mean, you couldn't have it stronger. So it really won't be necessary. Again, mending plates on the back side of the door there. And the nice thing is, since this is all gonna be done with hardware cloth and poultry netting, it don't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be hard. You know, if you're putting plywood in here, you end up using a lot of plywood because you have to cope, is what it's called when you make a cut like that. And you end up losing a lot of plywood you can't use to fill that in. But what I'm probably gonna do, not really for strength, just to make it easier, is come in like right here and put an upright in that attaches right to there. And then one down like that, just so there's something to staple that wire to. We'll just use a stapling gun to do the poultry netting. And when we get up to like here, what we'll do is we'll do the ends first. And we'll just, you know, cut like right there and just bend it over and flatten it and get all the ends done up with the poultry or the hardware cloth. And then that sharp edge, no worries. We'll just roll the top roll over it, wire that in, good as gold. There'll be nothing getting in here. And again, I think I said this last video, but one way we're gonna really make this predator proof is, and if you guys wanna come out, you local guys, I think I'm gonna do a Work with Jacks Saturday this coming week. And check the Survival Podcast for details on that. We're gonna dig about a 10-inch flat trench, maybe a foot flat trench here, all the way down the side. Real easy because it's only that deep before you hit rock. Just lay the dirt over, lay the hardware cloth on the ground, let it come up, attach, and go over, and do that on the other side. And then we'll do, you know, just a piece across here like that. And that means anything trying to tunnel under there is going to run into nothing but hardware cloth. And unless you're smaller than a 1/2 inch, you ain't getting in. So Fox likes it. I hope he doesn't get too attached to it because you won't be able to get in there soon, buddy. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. Again, if you want to come help work on this thing next weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say, check out the TSP blog, which is at thesurvivalpodcast.com or short link tspc.co.